Introduction. Your reality is following orders. Your mind is not random. Beneath the noise, it follows patterns with remarkable consistency. What you repeatedly accept becomes easier to believe. What you repeatedly notice becomes easier to find. What you repeatedly feel becomes easier to recreate. These are not magical commands imposed on the universe. They are operating laws that influence perception, memory, expectation, behavior, and therefore the results you are positioned to produce. This episode organizes those patterns into 10 laws you can observe in ordinary life. By the conclusion, you will be able to diagnose which law is currently working against you and choose a practical intervention. The universe does not operate by chance, it operates by law. Just as there are immutable physical laws that govern the movement of planets and the structure of an atom, there are mental and spiritual laws that govern your life, your prosperity, your health, and your destiny. These laws are impersonal, exact, and perpetual. They do not respond to pleas, hopes, or vague desires. They respond with mathematical precision to the nature of your own thoughts and dominant beliefs. They do not distinguish between saints and sinners, between rich and poor. Most of humanity lives as an unconscious victim of these laws, being swept away by their effects without ever understanding their causes. They attribute their misfortunes to bad luck and their triumphs to chance, not realizing that both are the logical results of a mental cause they themselves have set in motion. This audiobook is an operations manual. Its purpose is to reveal these laws to you, to explain how they work, and to give you the precise techniques so you can stop being an effect and become a conscious cause. By mastering these principles just as great masters have taught them, you will discover that your subconscious mind is a faithful and powerful servant that you can direct. You will learn to formulate commands that your reality must obey, and you will gain the power to dissolve scarcity, to command healing, and to attract success not by miracle but by the deliberate application of universal law. This is not a book of abstract theories. It is a science of the mind. It is the toolbox of the universe. It's time to learn how to use it. Chapter 1. The Master Law. Your mind is one important cause. You've decided to open the universe's user manual. You've accepted the premise that life doesn't operate by chance, but by law. Now we must begin our study with the first, most fundamental and profound of all laws. It's the master pillar on which the entire architecture of reality rests. The great masters of wisdom, from the sages of ancient Egypt to the mystics of India, have taught this primordial truth. Joseph Murphy made it the cornerstone of his philosophy. It is the law of mentalism. This law can be summarized in a simple but devastatingly powerful phrase for our old conceptions of the world. The universe is mind. Let's pause here because everything that follows in this audiobook and in your life will depend on your understanding of this law. What does it mean that the universe is mental? It means that the fundamental substance of everything that exists, the sun that warms you, the chair you sit in, the money in your pocket, your own body, is not at its root solid matter. Modern quantum physics has reached a similar conclusion on its own path. It has discovered that if we break down matter to its most fundamental level, we don't find small solid balls. We find vortices of energy, waves of probability that only collapse into a defined particle when observed. The basis of the physical world isn't physical. Metaphysics goes a step further. It postulates that the entire physical universe is a mental creation, a projection that occurs in the mind of an infinite universal consciousness. We can call this the universal mind or infinite intelligence. The universe with all its galaxies and laws is a thought held in the mind of God. This idea might seem abstract and distant, but this is where the principle of correspondence comes into play. As above, so below. If the universal mind creates through thought, then you, being an individualization of that same mind, operate under the same law. And this is the truth that changes everything for you. Your mind is not a simple observer of reality. It is a projector, and your life is the movie being projected. Your thoughts aren't private, fleeting, and harmless events that happen inside your skull. The creator and the medium, your two minds in action. Your conscious mind is the creator. It's the spark of the universal mind that resides in you. It's the seat of your free will. Its only function is to take the blueprints your conscious mind gives it and use the infinite power of the universe to build them in the physical world. It is the master builder, the faithful constructor. The problem is that most of us have abdicated our role as conscious creators. We've allowed our conscious minds to be filled with blueprints created by others, the beliefs of our parents, the suggestions of the media, the fears of society, and our subconscious, upon receiving these second-hand blueprints, has faithfully built them, creating a life that is not our own, but a reflection of our programming. It listens to the music of your habitual thoughts. Let's imagine two people, both with the conscious desire to start a successful business. Person A operates from a mental blueprint of confidence and value. Their dominant thoughts are, "I have a unique gift to offer. The service I provide enriches the lives of others." When faced with an obstacle, their causal thought of "I always find solutions" activates their subconscious mind to deliver creative ideas. Their external reality over time molds itself to their internal blueprint. Person B, on the other hand, operates from a mental blueprint of fear and doubt. Their dominant thoughts are, "It's too risky. What if I fail? The market is saturated. I'm not sure I'm good enough. What will people say?" This thought pattern is also a cause, but it's a blueprint for building a failure. Their vibration of fear repels opportunities. Practice the mentalist's workshop. To begin using this principle deliberately, you must first become aware of the blueprints you have been creating by default. Exercise 1. The audit of your mental blueprints. For the next 3 days, your task is to become a silent observer of your own mental workshop. Carry a notebook or a note on your phone. These are not just thoughts. This is the master blueprint your subconscious has been using to build your life until. This awareness is the first and most crucial step toward freedom. Exercise 2. The conscious creation of a thought form. This exercise will give you a direct experience of your mental power. Step B. The image. Associate an image with that word. What represents calm for you? Maybe a serene lake at dawn, a silent forest, or simply a soft blue color. Hold that image in your mind. Start applying this principle on a small scale. For the next week, choose one small recurring activity in your day. It could be before making a phone call, before entering a meeting, or before starting your workday. Just before you begin the activity, pause for 30 seconds. Close your eyes and consciously set the mental blueprint of the result you desire. You have understood that you are not a character in a story written by someone else, but that you are the consciousness that imagines and projects the story. Chapter 2. The Law of Belief, the Power Switch. This law states that your subconscious mind will accept as absolute truth any thought or idea that your conscious mind accepts as a conviction and will proceed to manifest it in your experience, regardless of whether the belief is objectively true or false. We must be absolutely clear on the distinction. A thought is a fleeting mental event. It's a cloud crossing the sky of your mind. You can have thousands of thoughts a day that have no significant creative power. A belief, however, is the sky itself. It is a thought that has been practiced, watered with emotion, and repeated with such consistency that it has solidified into the very fabric of your being. It has ceased to be an idea and has become a truth for you, a fundamental part of your operating system. A thought is a suggestion you make to your mind. A belief is a verdict you have handed down. A thought is a visitor knocking at the door. A belief is a permanent resident who lives in the house and dictates the rules. Your subconscious mind, that perfectly obedient servant, ignores the contradictory suggestions of visitors, but follows the orders of the resident to the letter. Belief is the power switch. When you truly believe something, you turn on the flow of creative energy. When you doubt, you turn the switch off. The anatomy of a belief. To learn how to install new beliefs, we must first understand their anatomy. A belief is not a simple thing. It is a complex structure with 3 inseparable components. The belief "love always ends in pain" is a story perhaps learned from your parents' relationship or your own first breakup, which you now use as a script to interpret all your future relationships. These stories act as prophecies. They filter your perception, making you see only the evidence that confirms them, and they guide your behavior in a way that often creates the outcome the story predicts. The power of these narratives is immense because the subconscious loves stories. 2. The emotional component. The feeling. A story without emotion is a script without actors. What gives a belief its power to shape reality is the emotional charge it carries with it. Emotion is the glue that adheres the story to your nervous system. It's the fuel that turns a simple idea into a vibrational force. When you think the story, "I'm not good at sales," you don't just think it, you feel it. You feel the contraction of anxiety in your stomach, the tension of insecurity in your shoulders. It is this emotion that your subconscious mind understands as the true command. It doesn't listen to the words, "I'm not good." It listens to the music of fear and it reflects it. This is why superficial positive thinking often fails. Person A has the root belief, "I am not good enough." How does this manifest? They enter the room with slightly slumped shoulders. Their handshake is weak. Their eye contact is intermittent. Their handshake is firm. They maintain calm, secure eye contact. They talk about their achievements with genuine confidence. Their behavior transmits the signal, "I am the solution to your problem." Even if both have the same qualifications on paper, whom do you think they will hire? The subconscious isn't malicious. It follows the path of least resistance that you yourself have paved with your repeated thoughts. Your psychic system has an incredibly powerful homeostatic drive to maintain congruence between your inner world and your outer world. It hates cognitive dissonance. If your internal belief is "I am poor" and you suddenly receive a large amount of money, this creates unbearable dissonance. The patient's conscious mind accepts this suggestion and turns it into a belief. "This pill is going to cure me." This belief is the command delivered to the subconscious, and the subconscious, which is the director of the body's internal pharmacy, obeys. It begins to produce the chemicals, activate the immune system, and carry out the necessary processes to create the effect corresponding to the belief healing. The power was never in the pill, because I feel safer with distance, because I'm afraid of being vulnerable and getting hurt, because I don't trust that someone can truly love me if they see the real me. I am not worthy of unconditional love. This exercise shows you the true cause you need to address. Step B, the prosecutor. Present all the evidence your mind has accumulated for years to support this belief. "I remember the time I was rejected. So-and-so told me that." Step C, the defense attorney. The fastest way to install a new belief is to act as if it were already true. Choose your new empowering belief for an entire day. Commit to embodying it. It's not about faking it. Constantly ask yourself, what would the person living from this truth do, say, or feel? Belief is not a passive state. It is the most powerful action in the universe. It is the switch that connects your conscious intention to the infinite power of your subconscious mind. You are not your beliefs, but you inevitably become what you believe. And you are the only one who has the power to choose what to believe. Chapter 3. The law of emotion, the fuel of creation. Now we come to the most dynamic, most potent and often most misunderstood force in the entire creative process. We come to the fuel of the soul, the electricity that gives life to your decrees. Welcome to the third and most vibrant of the laws of the mind, the law of emotion. Our rationalist culture has taught us to distrust our emotions. We have labeled them as irrational, as enemies of logic, as chaotic forces that must be controlled, repressed, or at best ignored. We have built a civilization that lives in the head, disconnected from the wisdom of the heart. This is one of the biggest mistakes we have made, because in the universe of the mind, logic is the rudder, but emotion is the wind in the sails. Without emotion, the boat of your life does not move. The law of emotion states that a thought to have creative power must be charged with the energy of feeling. It is emotion that impresses the subconscious mind. It is feeling that acts as the magnetic signature that the universe recognizes and responds to. Emotion as energy in motion. The word emotion comes from the Latin emov, which means to set in motion. An emotion is not a simple psychological state. It is energy and motion. It is a vibration. Every emotion you experience has a unique frequency signature that radiates from your body and interacts with the quantum field. When you feel an emotion, it is not a private event. You are literally changing the chemistry of your body and the energy of your environment. Every emotion releases a specific cocktail of neuropeptides and hormones. Your cells, which have receptors for these chemicals, are constantly listening to your emotional state. A chronic negative emotional state bathes your cells in the chemistry of stress, creating the ground for disease. A positive emotional state bathes them in the chemistry of regeneration and well-being. The HeartMath Institute has scientifically demonstrated that the human heart generates the most powerful electromagnetic field in the body, a field that can be measured several meters away. The quality of this field changes drastically with our emotions. Contraction emotions, anger, frustration, create a chaotic, incoherent signal. Expansion emotions, gratitude, compassion, create a beautiful, ordered, and coherent signal. Your emotional state is therefore the most powerful signal you are transmitting to the universe. It is not what you think that creates, but what you feel about what you think. The two poles of creative fuel. If you think about money from the fear of not having enough, your obedient mind will reflect that reality, attracting unexpected bills and missed opportunities. Fear is a prayer for lack. If you think about someone else's success from envy, you are emitting the vibration, "I don't have that," and the universe will prove you right, keeping you in a state of lack. If you think about your goals from desperation, the energy you project is that of need, and you can only attract more need. Two expansion emotions, the fuel of abundance, and that feeling becomes the magnet that attracts the money. You don't wait to find the perfect partner to feel loved and whole. You generate a state of love and wholeness in your own heart, and that state becomes the lighthouse that guides the right person toward you. The art of the alchemist generating emotion at will. Your mind and body are an inseparable system. You cannot change one without affecting the other. The fastest way to change your emotional state is to change your physiology, the power pose. Before a challenging situation, go to a private place and adopt a superhero pose. Your body will teach your mind how to feel. Inhale counting to 4. Exhale counting to 8. After a few cycles, your biochemistry will begin to change. Technique 2. The secret of the method actor, emotional memory. A great actor doesn't fake an emotion. They genuinely generate it from within, often using a technique called emotional memory. You can use this same technique to generate the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Choose your target emotion. What is the central emotion of your manifested desire? What did you hear? What did you smell? Who were you with? Reconstruct the scene in your mind as vividly as possible. As the emotion grows in your body, let go of the details of the memory and stay only with the pure feeling. Don't stop to think, "Thank you for my bed, thank you for my eyes, thank you for this coffee, thank you for the sun." Exercise 1. The emotional audit. To become a master of your emotions, you must first know your starting point. For the next week, become an observer of your habitual emotional state. At the end of each day, reflect and answer. What was the dominant emotion I felt? Every morning without fail, dedicate 5 minutes to deliberately generating that emotion in your body. It is not about thinking about confidence. It is about feeling it. You are training your body to learn a new emotional home. You are making the feeling of confidence feel more familiar than the feeling of doubt. You are the alchemist who turns the lead of ordinary emotion into the gold of manifestation. Chapter 4. The Power of the Decree, the Art of Autosuggestion. At the heart of almost every great mystical and world creation tradition lies a profound truth. The universe was created through a sound, a vibration, a word. In the beginning was the Word. The Gospel of John tells us the Sanskrit word Am is considered the primordial vibration from which all creation emanates. The ancient Aramaic word abracadabra, which we have relegated to a magic trick, actually means I create as I speak. These are not just poetic myths, they are instruction manuals for the physics of consciousness. They teach us that the word language is not a passive tool we use to describe a pre-existing reality. It is the active tool with which we create reality. Modern science is beginning to glimpse this ancient truth. Neuroscientists studying the effects of meditation and prayer have discovered that focused, repeated words literally change the structure and function of the brain. From Masaru Emoto in his famous experiments showed how words and intentions directed at water seem to change the crystalline structure of its frozen molecules with words like love and gratitude, creating beautiful and symmetrical forms, and words like hate, creating chaotic and deformed structures. Although his work is controversial in the scientific community, it offers us a visually powerful metaphor for a fundamental principle. Your words are vibration, and vibration shapes matter. Autosuggestion, therefore, is not a simple exercise in superficial positive thinking. It is the act of becoming a vibrational engineer. It is the science of deliberate hypnosis. The art of consciously choosing the commands you want to install in the operating system of your subconscious mind. Anatomy of a failed decree. Why most affirmations don't work. Before you can build decrees that work, you must understand why most people's attempts fail. Millions of people repeat affirmations every day with little or no results, get frustrated, and conclude that this doesn't work. It's not that the law fails, it's that they are applying the law incorrectly. There are 5 fundamental mistakes, 5 sins against the law of suggestion that nullify its power. The first sin, speaking from the future. This is the most common and most subtle mistake. We formulate our affirmations as desires for the future. I will be rich. I will get that job. I will be healthy. By doing this, we are unknowingly giving a very precise command to our subconscious mind to keep that desire perpetually in the future. And the obedient mind makes sure that wealth, the job or health are always just a little bit beyond reach on the horizon. Like a carrot we never catch, the subconscious only operates in the eternal present. It does not understand tomorrow. For it, the future is an abstraction that never arrives. The second sin, focusing on the negative. The subconscious is a primordial symbolic mind. It does not process negatives. Well, it's as if it's deaf to the word not. If you give it the command, I don't want to be anxious, the operative word, the image, and the feeling that your mind focuses on is anxious. It's like telling someone, don't think of a pink elephant. It's impossible. Feeling is the fuel that starts the engine of creation. A word without feeling is a command without energy. The fourth sin, the scream of doubt. You stand in front of the mirror and say, I am a money magnet. But while you say it, a much louder, more familiar voice in the back of your mind screams, that's a lie. Look at your bank account. Often our affirmations are actually vague desires. I want to be happy. I want my life to be better. To the subconscious, this is like giving a builder a blueprint that only says, build me a nice house. It's a useless command due to its lack of specificity. The subconscious is a literal servant. Formulate your decree in terms of what you wish to create, not what you wish to eliminate. Instead of I am not sick, say I am filled with vibrant health. Pillar 3. The personal, the I. Your decree must be a statement about yourself. Always start with I. Pillar 5. The power, the emotional charge. This is the central pillar. You must generate the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Before you say your decree, close your eyes and feel the emotion you would have if it were already true. Feel the relief, the gratitude, the joy, and then speak from that state. What does it focus on? The negative, lonely, hard. What tense is it in? Step C, the alchemical reconstruction. Now you're going to use the pillars to rewrite it as a master decree. In the morning, 5 minutes, stand in front of the mirror. Look yourself in the eyes and repeat your decree aloud with feeling and conviction for at least 1 minute. During the day, microdoses the anchor. Choose an anchor like drinking water. Exercise 3, the I am meditation. This is a meditation to connect with the creative power behind any decree. Simply start mentally repeating the 2 most powerful words. Don't add anything after. Not I am this or I am that. You are the programmer, and your conscious decrees are the new code that with persistence and faith will shape a universe that reflects your true magnificence. Chapter 5. The technique of creative visualization. Creating memories of the future. Your subconscious mind is the symbolic mind. It doesn't think in abstract phrases. It thinks in sensory images. A single image can contain the equivalent of 1,000 words of information, emotion, and instruction. It is the highest fidelity language for communicating with your inner servant. For this reason, disciplined imagination, the act of deliberately creating images in your mind, is the most powerful tool you possess for subconscious reprogramming. It is not mere daydreaming or escapist fantasy. Visualization, when practiced correctly, is the act of drawing the architectural blueprint of your future reality and handing it over to the master builder that is your subconscious. The science of the mental movie, creating memories of the future. To understand why visualization is so incredibly powerful, we must delve into the neuroscience of the mind. The most amazing and empowering truth science has discovered is this: your brain and nervous system do not clearly distinguish between a real experience and an vividly, repeatedly, and emotionally charged imagined experience. For your subconscious, both are real. Studies with elite athletes have demonstrated this principle powerfully. When an Olympic skier closes their eyes and visualizes a perfect run, brain scans show that the same motor areas in their brain are activated as if they were physically on the slope. They are literally practicing the race and strengthening the neural pathways of success without moving a single muscle. Musicians who practice a piece on a mental piano develop neural connections in their motor cortex, similarly to physical practice. When you create a vivid mental image of your success, you are not simply thinking positive. You are creating a neurological experience. You are rehearsing your future. You are building in your brain the hardware of the person you want to be. You are creating what Dr. Joe Dispenza calls a memory of the future. This idea is monumental. By familiarizing your nervous system with that new emotion, you stop living in the past and start living in your new future. The Master Director's Manual: How to Build Your Mental Movie. For your visualization to be a manifestation tool and not a simple fantasy, it must be practiced with the discipline and art of a master film director. Step 1. The script. You are completely healthy. Or perhaps the scene is you doing a physical activity you couldn't do before, like running on the beach, feeling the breeze and strength in your legs. If your desire is prosperity, the scene could be a conversation with your partner where you joyfully say, "We've paid off all our debts, we are free." Or the scene of you looking at your online bank statement and feeling a profound sense of peace and security. If your desire is to find your ideal partner, the scene is not the first date. Close your eyes and immerse yourself in your movie site. Don't just see the scene. Look at the details. What is the lighting like? What clothes are you wearing? What is the expression on the faces of the people around you? Make it vivid. Hearing. What sounds do you hear in your scene? Are they someone's words of congratulations? The sound of your new house keys? Is it the embrace of a loved one? The feel of the steering wheel of your new car? The texture of an important document you are signing? Feel the weight, the temperature, the solidity of the objects in your scene, smell and taste. Often forgotten, these senses are deeply connected to memory and emotion. Is there any smell in your scene? As you visualize the scene with all your senses, identify the dominant emotion you would feel if that were real. It is not a superficial emotion like excitement. It is a deep soul feeling. Is it gratitude, relief, freedom, peace, serene joy, love? Once you identify that central emotion, focus on it. Repeat the brief scene in your mind over and over again in a continuous loop. The goal is for the scene to become so familiar, so natural, that it loses its quality of fantasy and acquires the quality of a calm and certain memory. Practice your private projection room. Exercise 1. The script of your movie. Take your journal based on the 4 previous steps: the sun reflecting on the water, the clear numbers on the phone screen, hearing the soft sound of the waves, the singing of the birds, touch, the warmth of the sun on my skin, the breeze, the smoothness of the coffee cup in my hands, smell, taste, the smell of coffee and the sea, the central emotion, deep peace, a feeling of relief and gratitude that relaxes my whole body. Enter that dreamy state where you are no longer fully awake, but not yet asleep. Now start projecting your mental movie. Load the scene with all the sensory details, and above all with the central emotion. Repeat the scene in a loop, over and over, gently and effortlessly. If you get distracted, simply return kindly to your movie. It is the architect's tool with which you design your future. What you project with faith and feeling on the screen of your mind, your subconscious will accept as a command and build it brick by brick in the workshop of the world. Chapter 6. The Twilight Portals, the Power of Sleep. You've learned to formulate your decrees with words and project your reality with images. You are the director with a finished film. But for this film to reach the projector of your subconscious, it must pass through the projection booth. And at the door is a skeptical guardian, your conscious mind. This guardian, your rational, analytical mind, has a vital function. During your waking hours, its job is to analyze the world, comparing new information with the database of your old beliefs and experiences to keep you safe and ensure your world remains predictable. If you present it with a radical new idea like, "I am a magnet for abundance," while in your daytime alert state and your past experience contradicts that idea, the guardian will reject it. It will say, "That's not logical. Look at the evidence in your bank account," and the new seed will never reach the garden. But twice every 24 hours, this guardian gets tired. Its logical grip loosens. These are the sacred moments, the twilight portals. They are the periods of drowsiness just before you fall asleep at night and just after you wake up in the morning. These are not simply moments of relaxation. They are neurologically distinct and extraordinarily powerful states of consciousness. They are the golden hours for reprogramming. The moments when the door between the gardener and the garden opens wide without resistance. The science of the sacred portals. Your brain operates at different frequencies or brain waves throughout the day. During most of your day, you are in the beta state. It is the state of the active alert mind focused on the external world. It is the guardian at its watchtower. When you relax or meditate, your brain waves slow down and you enter the alpha state. This is the bridge, the lobby of the subconscious mind. The guardian is relaxing, its skepticism diminishing just before sleep, and upon waking you enter the theta state. This is the portal. The theta state is the state of deep hypnosis, of daydreaming, of maximum creativity. It is the state in which your brain operated predominantly between the ages of 0 and 7. The reason you absorbed belief so easily in theta, the conscious guardian, is practically asleep. The door to the subconscious is completely open, and it will accept any suggestion presented to it as an absolute truth. Finally, in deep sleep, you enter delta, the state of unconscious repair and regeneration. The art of subconscious programming is to trap that magical window of the theta state, to plant your seeds without the interference of the guardian. Most of us unconsciously use this portal to program disaster. The last mental activity we engage in before sleep is often worry. It is their private audience with the infinite power of their obedient mind. Advanced nightly programming techniques. 1. The subconscious lullaby. This is the technique for programming with words. Condense your fulfilled desire into a brief phrase or even a single word. Feel the emotion that the word represents for you. Feel the peace of health. Feel the freedom of wealth. The goal is for the last consciousness you have before you fall asleep to be that word and that feeling. You are giving the command and now you can rest, knowing that your faithful servant will work all night to make it a reality. It's crucial to live it in the first person. Don't see yourself on a screen. Look through your own eyes, feel the steering wheel of the new car in your hands, hear the words of congratulations with your own ears. Your subconscious, connected to universal intelligence, is a problem solver of unmatched genius. History is full of examples. The chemist August Cayley discovered the ring structure of the benzene molecule after dreaming of a snake biting its tail. Elias Howe got the idea for the modern sewing machine needle after a dream. The melody of yesterday came to Paul McCartney in a dream. I hand over this problem of describe the problem. I have done my part, now it is yours. You know the perfect solution. Work on it tonight and reveal it to me. Exercise 1. The Sleep Sanctuary. Your bedroom is not a second office or a movie theater. For these techniques to work, you must create an environment that signals to your brain that it is time to enter a state of deep relaxation. The rule of the hour before for the hour before sleep. Disconnect from screens, TV, phone, computer. The blue light from screens suppresses melatonin and keeps your brain on alert. Commit to using that single technique every night without exception for the next 30 days. Keep a journal next to your bed. Every morning, dedicate 5 minutes to the harvest. Exercise 3. The morning harvest. Upon waking, before moving, before thinking about your day, and especially before touching your phone, stay still. Capture them before the noise of the day erases them. Your day has 24 hours, not 16. Sleep is not dead time. It is your most potent period of creation. By becoming the conscious architect of your nights, you become the master of your days. Chapter 7. Gratitude as a magnet, the frequency of reception. Now we arrive at the catalyst, the alchemical ingredient that accelerates the entire chemical reaction of manifestation, the feeling that acts as the sun and rain for the garden of your mind, ensuring that the seed you have planted not only germinates, but flourishes with astonishing vitality. We arrive at the signature that seals the contract with the universe. This ingredient is gratitude. In our culture, we have made a serious mistake with gratitude. It is a state of being. It is perhaps the highest, most coherent, and most magnetic vibrational frequency a human being can emit. The law of the subconscious, the law of reflection, is clear and immutable. It manifests what we accept and feel as a present truth. And here lies the magical secret and the supreme power of gratitude. You are feeling the end, and your subconscious, that faithful servant that does not distinguish between a real and an emotionally imagined experience, upon receiving this powerful emotional impression of an accomplished fact, has no choice but to get to work to align your external reality with this internal truth you have already accepted. Gratitude, in this sense, completely transforms the energy of your intention. It pulls you out of the vibration of supplication and places you in the vibration of reception. Supplication. The prayer of the beggar says, "Please, please give me this thing I don't have." It is born from a feeling of lack. The power of gratitude also has a deep neurobiological basis. When we cultivate a state of gratitude, our brain releases dopamine and serotonin, the same neurotransmitters associated with happiness and well-being. It literally makes us feel good. A brain bathed in gratitude is a healthier, happier brain and much more receptive to solutions and opportunities than a brain drowning in worry. To master this power, we must explore its three dimensions. This is a radical idea. Our natural tendency is to resent our wounds, be ashamed of our failures, and wish our past had been different. But the alchemist understands that each of those experiences was a lesson in disguise. Every failure was a harsh teacher who taught you resilience. Every broken heart expanded your capacity for compassion. When you can sincerely look at an old wound and say, "Thank you for the lesson. Thank you for the strength you forged in me," you perform a miracle. You release the toxic emotional burden of resentment and guilt and transform a memory that weakened you into a source of power. You are rewriting your story, not changing the facts, but changing the meaning you give them. And by healing the vibration of your past, you stop projecting that pain into your present. Don't say, "I'm grateful for my health." Say, "I'm grateful for the strength of my legs that allows me to walk, for my lungs that breathe air effortlessly, for my eyes that allow me to see the colors of this world." By practicing this, you are not just improving your mood. You are tuning your vibration to the frequency of abundance. You are telling your subconscious, "I live in a generous universe where I already possess a lot. I am ready to receive more." You are building the muscle of gratitude. It is the act of living in the end, not with hope, but with a calm and grateful faith. It is the purest embodiment of the feeling of the wish fulfilled. When you worry about the future, you are using your imagination to create a negative scenario and feeling the emotion of that scenario. You are praying for what you don't want. Gratitude for the future is the conscious use of the same faculty but in the opposite direction. Practice the ritual of manifesting gratitude. Exercise 1. The 3-level gratitude journal. This is your daily training to become a master of gratitude. In the morning, present level. Before you start your day, write in your journal 10 specific things you are grateful for. At night, future level, in your drowsy state, choose your main desire. And instead of an affirmation, perform a prayer of thanks. Thank the infinite intelligence with a deep and sincere feeling because your wish is already a fact. For example, thank you for my perfect radiant health, and fall asleep in that feeling. Exercise 2. The gratitude walk. When you feel a contractive emotion, fear, anger, sadness, do not fight it. Pause, acknowledge the emotion, and then look for something, anything within that situation that you can be grateful for. If you feel fear about a presentation, you can say, "I'm grateful for the opportunity to challenge myself and grow." If you feel anger about a conflict, you can say, "I'm grateful for this opportunity to practice patience and compassion." This act of seeking the gold in the mud does not deny the negative emotion, but introduces a higher vibration that begins to transmute it. We have learned to give it clear commands through autosuggestion and visualization, and now we have learned to seal those commands with the power of gratitude. We are equipped with the fundamental tools of reprogramming. Chapter 8. The language of wealth. The word, as we saw in previous chapters, the word is not a simple sound, it is a decree. It is a vibration that shapes energy. It is a spell you cast into the field of reality, a command that your obedient mind and your attention and behavior tend to reinforce with relentless fidelity. And in no area is this law more evident and faster in its reflection than in the realm of wealth. Your current financial reality, the amount of money flowing into your life, is not a reflection of your worth, your effort, or the economic situation. It is a perfect and direct reflection of the language you habitually use when you think and talk about money. You have been describing your financial world, and in describing it you have been creating it. You have been the prophet of your own economy, the enchantment of poverty, the vocabulary of scarcity. Before you can learn the language of wealth, you must become aware of the enchantment of poverty, the vocabulary of scarcity that most of us have learned to speak with an unconscious fluency. It is a declaration of absolute powerlessness. It closes the door to all possibility. When you say, "I can't afford it," your obedient mind stops looking for solutions. It accepts the limitation as a final sentence. Creativity is turned off. To maintain your identity as a good person, your subconscious will work to repel money from your life. You have to work like a slave to earn money. This decree merges prosperity with suffering. It installs the belief that wealth can only be obtained through sacrifice, exhaustion, and the loss of the joy of living. As a result, you either work yourself to exhaustion for little money, or you unconsciously reject opportunities for great wealth because your mind associates them with unbearable pain. You are giving up your power as a creator. You are saying that you do not have access to that luck, reinforcing your identity as someone at the mercy of chance. These phrases and many others like them are the bricks with which we build our own financial prison. They are the commands that our faithful servant has been executing for years. To free yourself, you don't have to fight reality. The universe hears lack and gives you more of that experience. The language of abundance speaks from a place of choice and being. Instead of "I need more money," the decree is "I choose to create and receive more abundance in my life." Instead of "I wish I had," the decree is "I am the source of my own prosperity." This linguistic shift takes you out of the role of a beggar and puts you into that of a sovereign creator. Instead of "I'm going to get that contract," the decree is "I am so happy and grateful for this new prosperous contract." You speak of the end as if it has already happened, feeling the emotion of its fulfillment. You are creating the memory of the future. Principle 3. Bless wealth wherever you see it. Envy and resentment toward others' success are pure poison for your own prosperity. We desire it, but we also fear it. We see it as a source of stress, conflict, and worry. The master of abundance changes this relationship. He personifies money not as an unpredictable tyrant, but as an ally, a servant, and energetic friend. Instead of saying "damn money," say "money is my friend and my partner." The wealth consciousness understands that money is energy and that it must circulate. The act of paying is as important as the act of receiving. The practice is to bless your bills. Every time you pay a bill, instead of doing it with resentment, do it with gratitude. Be thankful for the service you received, the electricity that lit your house, the water that nourished you, the roof that sheltered you. It's a language of sacrifice. The language of wealth says, "I enjoy creating immense value." This change of focus is monumental. It takes you out of the exchanging time for money mindset and puts you into the exchanging value for money mindset. Your focus is no longer on sweat and sacrifice, but on how you can serve, how you can solve problems, how you can bring your unique gift to the world in a bigger and better way. When you focus on creating massive value from a place of joy and passion, abundance becomes the natural and inevitable side effect. Take each of the scarcity phrases you have identified in your audit. Next to each one, using the 7 principles of prosperous language, write its replacement decree. Its antidote. Old phrase, "I can't afford it." New decree, "How can I afford it?" Or, "I choose to create the resources for this." Create your own personal glossary and read it every morning. Exercise 3. The 30-day prosperous speech vow. This is an intensive challenge to forge a new habit. For the next 30 days, make a vow to yourself. Commit to consciously eliminating the vocabulary of scarcity and actively using your new glossary. You have become a master linguist, An alchemist who knows that to change the reflection in the mirror, you must first change the word that describes it. You have learned to speak the language of wealth. Chapter 9. The Silent Obstacle. Overcoming fear and doubt accompanied by its trusted advisor, doubt. Fear is the agent of the inner matrix that activates most strongly when you are closest to freedom. Its function is simple and biological: to protect you, keep you safe, and return you to the predictable and familiar comfort of your comfort zone. For the alchemist, fear is not an enemy to be eradicated. It is the purest form of psychic energy. It is the dragon that guards the treasure. Fleeing the dragon is giving up the treasure. Fighting it head-on is being consumed by its flames. The art of the master is to learn to dance with the dragon, to understand its language, and to use its immense firepower to illuminate your own path. To do this, we must first understand the true nature of fear. Most of the fear we experience is not the acute, instinctive fear that saves our lives from a real physical threat. That fear is an ally. The fear we are talking about here is psychological fear, anxiety, worry, doubt. This fear does not live in reality. It lives in a single place in time. Psychological fear is always a projection of your mind into a future that has not happened, based on a wound from the past that has not healed. It is in essence a destructive and uncontrolled use of your power of imagination. It is the act of using your inner cinema to write, direct, and project in a never-ending loop. The movie of your own catastrophe and your subconscious mind, that obedient servant that does not distinguish between a real and an emotionally imagined experience, takes that horror movie as a direct command. It accepts the script of failure as the blueprint for your reality and begins to build it, generating the chemistry of anxiety in your body and attracting circumstances that validate your fear. The anatomy of your fears. Getting to know the guardians. To disarm your guardians, you must first know their faces. Although fear feels like a monolithic emotion, it manifests through several masks. 1. The fear of failure. This is the most common guardian. Its root is the fear of shame and judgment. It is the belief that our value as human beings is intrinsically linked to our performance. If our project fails, it is not the project that has failed. It is us who have failed. To protect ourselves from this existential pain, this guardian whispers the safest strategy of all. If you don't play, you can't lose. Its reflection in our life is procrastination, perfectionism, and the paralysis of never starting. 2. The fear of success. This guardian is more subtle and cunning. What if I become someone I don't like? The fear of success is the fear of expansion, the fear that the light of our own power is too bright. Its reflection is self-sabotage, getting right to the edge of a great achievement and inexplicably making a mistake that ruins everything. 3. The fear of criticism and rejection. This is the most tribal guardian. The market is saturated. The odds are against you. Doubt is the rational mind's attempt to obtain a 100% guarantee in a universe that is inherently uncertain. Its reflection is paralysis by analysis. Endless research, planning, and deliberation without ever taking the leap of faith that action requires. When fear begins to project its horror movie in your mind, don't try to forcibly turn it off. Simply change the channel with an act of deliberate will. Withdraw your attention from the fear movie and project your own movie. As we learned, this is not a vague hope. It is a multi-sensory simulation of the happy ending. Name 5 things you can see. The lamp, the book, the cup, the window, your hand. Name 4 things you can feel in your body. The chair under your weight, your feet on the floor, the air on your skin, the clothes covering you. Name 3 things you can hear. Even the smallest, most imperfect action. Action sends a powerful signal to your primitive brain. It tells it the threat is not as great as you thought. We are handling the situation. You can deactivate the alarm. Use the 2-minute rule. Instead of resisting the possibility of failure, you accept it, and then you go one step further. You look for the gold hidden even in that scenario. If your greatest fear is failing in your new business, ask yourself, what if I fail? What would be the hidden gift in that experience? What would I learn about myself? Practice the Brave Warrior's Workshop. Exercise 1. The Fear Inventory and the Triumph Script. This exercise is about moving from awareness to creation. Step A. The Inventory. Make a list of your 1 to 3 most recurrent fears, the ones you feel limit you the most. For each one, name it with as much specificity as possible. Step B, the script. Every night project your triumph movie. Every day repeat your courage decree. When you feel fear, use radical presence. And when the time comes to act, use the 2-minute rule to start. This challenge is not about achieving a perfect result. You are the director of your mind's cinema, and you have at every moment the sovereign power to change the movie. Chapter 10. Applying the law for success and harmonious relationships. These two areas, although they may seem distinct, are governed by the same infallible law of reflection. The way you experience yourself in your career and the quality of the relationships you attract are a direct mirror of your deepest beliefs about your own worth, your deservingness, and your place in the world. A feeling of unworthiness within you will be reflected in a boss who doesn't value you and a partner who doesn't respect you. In this final chapter, we will immerse ourselves in a practical workshop to apply all the tools we have learned and give the conscious commands that will create a reflection of professional success and harmonious love. Part 1. The Professional Success Workshop. First, we must deconstruct the word success. The cultural matrix has sold us a very limited definition of success. A job title with an impressive name, a 6F-figure salary, the recognition and approval of others. We have been programmed to pursue these external symbols, believing that once we obtain them, we will finally feel successful. The master of the mind inverts this formula. He knows that success is not a destination you arrive at. It is an inner state from which you operate. True success is not something you get. It is something you are. True success is the feeling of purpose, growth, contribution, and satisfaction that you experience in your daily work. When you cultivate this inner state, the external symbols of success often arrive as a natural byproduct. The first step is to define what success means to you. Not for society, not for your parents. For you, how does it feel? For some, it is freedom. For others, service. For others, leadership. Before you can give a clear command to your subconscious, you must have a clear blueprint. Once you have your vision, the next step is to identify the false decrees, the limiting beliefs that are sabotaging your success. The most common are I'm not good enough, smart enough, talented enough, impostor syndrome. I'm afraid of failure, criticism, and judgment. I'm afraid of success, visibility, and the responsibility that comes with it. I hate my job, but it's safe. You know, these beliefs are the commands that your obedient mind has been executing. We are going to give it new commands. Techniques to manifest success. 1. The professional identity decree. You must forge a new identity. Instead of focusing on the goal, focus on becoming the person who naturally achieves that goal. Create your I am affirmation. Design a decree that defines your new professional identity. Immerse yourself in the emotion. Project this movie in your mind, charging it with the emotion of triumph, satisfaction of I did it. Feel that emotion in every cell of your body. This is the command your subconscious will execute. 3. The Nightly Counsel for Professional Challenges. The law is identical. The quality of your relationships is a direct reflection of the quality of the relationship you have with yourself. If you constantly criticize yourself, you will attract partners who criticize you. If you feel unworthy of love, you will attract people who don't value you. If you are afraid of abandonment, you will attract partners who won't commit. Your main affirmation should not be about finding someone, but about becoming someone who is loved. I am worthy of a deep, respectful, and joyful love. I love and accept myself unconditionally. I am a complete and happy person on my own. And from this wholeness, I attract my ideal partner who is my perfect spiritual and emotional complement. It could be the scene of a comforting hug after a difficult day, feeling a profound sense of home and security. Focus on the central feeling. It is not the excitement of novelty. It is peace, security, joy, complicity. I know she acts from a place of love and respect. Our communication is open, honest, and compassionate. Harmony and joy reign in our relationship. By doing this, you are not manipulating the other. You are changing the reflection by changing the image you hold of them in your projector. Feel successful, fulfilled, and prosperous. Fall asleep with that feeling. Next 10 minutes, change the channel. Project your mental movie of harmonious relationships. Feel loved, connected, and at peace. They are not outside of you. They are in the silent power of your own obedient mind. Our journey began with the belief that we were a small vessel on a vast ocean of chance at the mercy of winds and tides we could not control. And throughout this manual, we have torn away that veil of ignorance. We have discovered that the universe does not operate by chance but by law, mental laws as precise, as impersonal, and as unchangeable as the law of gravity. You have stopped being a victim of circumstances to become the master of the laws that govern them. The final truth, the one you must carry with you from on, is this: these are not external laws imposed on you. They are the inherent laws of your own consciousness. The power was never outside. Share these laws with someone who is ready to reclaim their power. Thank you for your time, for your dedication, and for the brave decision to become the architect of your own destiny. Conclusion. The unwritten choice. The central lesson of the 10 laws of the mind is not that a single thought controls every event. It is that unconscious patterns become powerful when they remain unnamed. The moment a pattern can be observed, it can be questioned. The moment it can be questioned, a different response becomes possible. Bring the central idea back to ordinary life. Choose one situation in which you usually react automatically. Name the pattern without condemning yourself. Decide what a more conscious response would look like, and practice that response in one small action. A principle becomes useful only when it changes what you notice and what you do. Do not use these ideas to blame yourself for circumstances outside your control, to ignore material conditions, or to replace qualified care. Use them where your agency is real. The meaning you assign, the standards you keep, the language you repeat, the attention you train, and the next action you choose. The laws of an individual mind become even more powerful when we examine the possibility that separation itself is incomplete. The purpose of this journey is not to replace evidence, professional care, or practical action with belief. It is to make your inner participation visible so that attention, language, emotion, and behavior can become conscious instruments rather than invisible habits.